Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another Walking Dead discussion topic. So yeah, apparently there have been some episode names that have been released. So yeah, episode 9 has already been previously released a couple days ago. And and yeah, speaking of episode 9, so yeah, apparently episode 9 when I previously did the video a couple days ago or maybe about a week ago, um the description was like the description that had a basic description. It appears that the description has been leaked. How the actual synopsis for the episode has been leaked, apparently, from what I can tell. So yeah, yeah. At least part of it has been leaked. Apparently, I don't know. I'm not gonna read it because I'm kind of wary. It doesn't really seem real because I read it and it just doesn't really sound realistic in my opinion. Um, yeah, it just doesn't sound realistic. Because it's also from what we've seen from the trailer, which I'll get to later. But yeah, episodes 10, 11, and 12, their names and basic descriptions have also been released. So yeah, just to rephrase, episode 9 is called "What Happened and What's Going On," and the original description for that is that it more or less followed along the lines of that the group after the death of Beth, and after burying her, they take a detour and apparently it works in their favor. Okay, now episode 10 is called Them, and the plot synopsis says the group feels beaten after living life on the road, but must continue to trudge along in spite of the challenges they have incurred. Trudged. That's a weird word. So yeah, basically, I think that I'm not really gonna go off what it says on episode 9 because again, it just seems completely unrealistic in my opinion. It just seems really complete bullshit and for some reason has a as Lori or something like that in the name. I don't know if it's a flashback to Lori or something like that, but it says Lori for some reason, and Shane. I just doesn't seem right. It doesn't really sound like a flashback, so I'm gonna not ignore that. But yeah, but them. So yeah, again, the group feels beaten after living on the road, but must continue to trudge along in spite of the changes they have incurred. So yeah, in the trailer, if you guys remembered, there was the community that they found. I feel like that's gonna be like after in episode 9, they're gonna find the community and then leave the community pretty fast, and yeah, and I think in episode 10 we're gonna see the aftermath of that. You know, them leaving this community, or maybe them already starting to leave the community, maybe by halfway through the episode, or maybe even the end of the episode, or the beginning. So yeah, I mean that would make sense. And yeah, and exactly what community? Some people are saying Wiltshire Estates. Now that is somewhat debatable due to the fact that we have already seen Wiltshire Estates. Yeah, we've already seen Wiltshire Estates. Supposedly with Shane and Andrea back in season 2. So yeah, and then the sources that say it's gonna be pretty similar. They're just gonna rename it called Shire Wilt Estates. That's pretty weak, but I guess whatever. I mean, we already know they're gonna be in some kind of village or whatever for at least or a townhouse for a small amount of time. So yeah, now episode 11 is gonna be called The Distance. That kind of reminds me of that song, The Distance by Cake, I believe. It has Christopher Walken in the music video. That's pretty funny. But aside from the point, The Distance, episode 11 from The Walking Dead, season 5, and it says after withstanding a spectacular storm, Rick and the others meet what appears to be a friendly person, but finds themselves mistrustful. So yeah, what does this mean? Okay, so Robert Kirkman in The Talking Dead for episode 8, which was Coda, he said there's gonna be a new character introduced in episode 11 or episode 12, and it's gonna be a predominantly gay character. I did a discussion saying, giving my thoughts on who the gay character could be. And I think this is going to be the introduction of Aaron and Eric, or at least Aaron, because I believe he appears first in the comics. So I think they're going to follow it pretty similar to how they did in the comics. Introduce Aaron first. Eric may be there, but it says a friendly person, which means one person. So I believe Aaron. It could also just be Eric, which makes sense. So yeah, I think we're gonna have the introduction of Aaron and Eric, or at least one of them. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty interesting. And then the next episode is episode 12 is called Remember. And the synopsis is the group has a difficult time molding to a new lifestyle, forcing them to consider whether they can be the people they once were. So this kind of sounds like they were admitted into the Alexandria safe zone. They were let into the Alexandria safe zone. And in the Alexandria safe zone, if you guys don't know about it, it's basically this community that everybody's every like most of the people there have been sheltered from the apocalypse, so not many people know really what's going on. So I think that's what they have to deal with. Now them having survived for a while, now have to deal with these people who have barely survived more than maybe 2 weeks out in the apocalypse and think that everything's okie dokie. So now they kind of have to go with this new lifestyle. So yeah, now back to episode 9. What's happening? What's going on? The description is weird. In my opinion. I really don't know to trust it because it just seems kind of weird. In my opinion, it just seems kind of weird, and I don't really know. I don't really trust the validity of the actual synopsis. It says the episode starts with the group. Oh, by the way, spoilers, major fucking spoilers right here if this is true, which I highly doubt, but it's true. Um, yeah, the episode starts with the group holding a funeral for Beth. The group dug a hole to bury her body. Gabriel delivers her eulogy, which he says, "We look to what can be seen, but we look not to what can be seen, but we look at what cannot be seen." Yeah. No, I said it really wrong. It's really weird. We look not to what can be seen, but we look at what cannot be seen. That's what it meant. We can be seen in temporary, but what cannot be seen is eternal. For what we know, if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we are building from God. We have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in heaven. So yeah, we kind of saw that in the 2 minutes, 2 minutes of the trailer, not trailer, the Walking Dead, they released the first 2 minutes of the episode, so that kind of correlates with what it sounds kind of similar. Then it says Maggie and Noah, they're still coping with Beth's unexpected demise after her burial. Rick and Glenn, Daryl, Sasha went for a supply run. Rick checks a truck, clears it out, and found nothing. Several glimpses show the survivors where the survivors have been: a small farmhouse, referring to the to Green's family farm, the prison, and Woodbury. Some pictures of Noah along his brother were also shown. So again, that correlates. Now here's the one where it's kind of weird. It says a flashback, which wasn't seen in these 2 minutes. So that's why it's kind of weird. It says a flashback to Lori and appears with Lori and Shane and Rick. Yeah, it says a flashback with Lori and Shane and Rick back at the prison when they were arguing, supposedly arguing without noise. So apparently it seems like they're arguing. That was not seen, so that's kind of weird. Then it says we see some quick glimpses of Shane and Lori being, cheating, which correlates similar to season one, like similar scenes if you guys remember way back in season one. And then it says we have a quick glimpse of T-Dog, Andrea, and yeah, I mean that's kind of weird also because we didn't really see those 2 minutes, so that's kind of weird. I do want to say, so I mean, maybe that's added footage, but I highly doubt it. That's why I don't really trust the validity completely of this one. I mean, for me, it just really talks about the first 2 minutes, but there are some added things, which is weird. Okay, and then it goes back to say, when night comes, Noah told Rick that Beth was supposed to leave with him from the hospital to where his family resides. Rick asked where is it, and when Noah told him where it is, despite it being far away, Rick decides to tell the rest of the group that the place Noah mentions would be their next destination. The place was secured when Noah left. The place walled and was a home to about 20 people, which is probably way more at this point. Um, then it says it's a long trip, but if it works out, it's the last long trip we'll have to make, said by Rick. Glenn questions, what if it's not around anymore? Rick says, keep going on. And then Michonne says, then we find a new place. Some glimpses are shown again, a skeleton of a human remain in the woods, and a sun drawing made of chalk on a road. Which, again, that sounds pretty similar to the first 2 minutes. And then it says, Daryl kills a walker. Sorry. Daryl kills a walker. Alongside Rick, Glenn, Sasha, Tyrese, and Carol, apparently. before getting into a couple cars. Noah, um, Noah, half asleep, starts talking to Sasha. Sasha and Tyrese. Tyrese questions him what was he gonna do if he actually had escaped with Beth, and in which he answers that he would have just continued on, see if he could get back to his family. As to where Sasha then later points out, what if it's not there anymore, and he says, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, there are some things that are true, and then there's some things that aren't true. Like they weren't seen within the first 2 minutes, so it's kind of iffy on this. So that's why I don't completely trust it. Like some of the stuff with Shane and Lori, I really don't think that's gonna really be in it, or in the stuff. Maybe the stuff with Tyrese and Sasha, that may be in it, but I don't think they're gonna. It seems like they're adding a bit more importance to it than they should. So yeah, that's basically it for this discussion topic. Yeah, cutting it close to The Walking Dead. I'm actually watching The Walking Dead season 3 marathon, or yeah, season 3, 3, 4, and 5. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I paused it. Let's see, right there with the governor. Episode 3, season 3. That scene is right when he goes up to the soldiers and starts killing them. That's a pretty good scene. But aside from the point, what are your thoughts on episode 9? Do you think it's gonna start off like that? You know, if you saw the first 2 minutes, you guys know more or less how it's gonna start. But do you think some of the added stuff is gonna be in there, such as the stuff with Lori and Shane, and then the stuff with Tyrese and Noah? You know, do you think that's gonna be in there? You know, what are your thoughts on that? And what are your thoughts on the other episode names, which is Them, The Distance, and Remember, as well as their descriptions? So yeah, what are your thoughts on all that? Comment all that down below. Let me know. That's basically it for this review. Subscribe, not review, but discussion topic. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, and comic book reviews. I like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. Oh, and comment down below, obviously. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.